You don't need to be crying on your bathroom floor to be burnt out. Most people think that, but some of you are burnt out right now, mid sentence, mid scrolling, and don't even know it because nothing's technically wrong. Today, I'm naming the quiet kind of burnout, telling you why it's actually happening in your body and give you the exact tool I built because I needed it for myself. So grab your cup of whatever's keeping you grounded and let's dive in. Welcome to Heart Led CEO, the podcast for women wellness entrepreneurs who are ready to build, scale, and automate their businesses without sacrificing their soul, sanity, or authenticity. I'm Anacani Walters, a nurse turned entrepreneur, military spouse, first-time mama in my 40s, and a recovering burnout survivor who's making it a mission to help heart-led women just like you create thriving businesses that really feel good, do good, and give you the freedom that we all deserve. Because here's the thing, you don't have to hustle harder to succeed. You don't have to drown in tech overwhelm or try to do everything alone. And I'm here to give you the strategies, automation tools, and mindset shifts that will help you step fully into that leader, CEO, and impact maker that you are meant to be. If you're ready to grow your business in a way that aligns with your values and your life, you are in the right place. Let's get into today's episode. Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome to another episode. I hope you are having a fantastic week wherever you are listening from. And it's just been such a roller coaster, so many things happening, so many lifing, grabbing my attention. I will say that we have had a fantastic time. Giving you some personal note. My 4-year-old and I found 2 monarch butterfly caterpillars in our garden eating the bejesus out of all the leaves on a plant that they really shouldn't be eating anyways. And so we decided to adopt them. I went on a crazy Saturday hunt for crayon flower, finally found some. And literally that night, one of the bigger of the 2 caterpillars went into a chrysalis, and the second one is going into its cocoon as we speak. So it has been such a magical yet chaotic week. And I decided that for this episode, I really wanted to talk about something a lot of us are living inside of right now. And sometimes we feel like there's no name for it. Sometimes we feel like we're crazy because it's not this dramatic thing that we expect when we think of dun 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 burnout. And it's this very quiet thing that gets into literally everything when we don't pay attention to it. And so the quiet burnout is the one that I think is the scariest, and it's the one that we pay the least amount of attention to. So I want to just give you 3 points, and then I'm going to give you an extra one that led to essentially me building something for myself. Because as you know, I chronically suffer from avoidance, basically, is the main issue. And I become a workaholic. I tend to do other things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be working like on a computer. Sometimes it'll just be cleaning or doing other things that I feel like I'm there doing, checking the boxes, but I'm not really. I'm just avoiding some of the things that are building up silently inside. So the first thing I want to talk about is really what quiet burnout actually looks like when it starts to become something that affects you. Because it's not what some people imagine when they think about burnout, of like this falling apart and passing out or going to the hospital. That is very true that some people experience that level of burnout, but it's more of this going numb. Sometimes it can feel like you're resenting a task that you really, really used to love. And that resentment can also grow into resenting your actual business or your work. It's dreading your work before you even get to work. Like when you wake up, you do not want to wake up. You are happy to push that snooze button, or you set an alarm or the intention to get up. And it's like, nope, I'm not that motivated by my work anymore. Sometimes it's just that crossing a finish line literally feels like the most monstrous mountain that you are climbing and that will never end. And you just feel tired and just like, "Eh." So this is never going to end. And then the worst part is that when you do finish crossing whatever line it is, meeting whatever goal it is, you feel flat instead of excited or relieved. You're like, eh, you almost, it's like it didn't even happen, or it's like, it's not that big of a deal. And so, what nobody I feel like tells us is that it usually doesn't hit during a hard season. Some people think that it's just going to be when you're in the most chaotic state. I think that it hits right after, when we least expect it, when that fight or flight, high energy dopamine hit of survival basically winds down, right after maybe like a lunch, right after some type of huge milestone that you kicked ass in, or this long plateau of weeks where you don't feel like there's any visibility moving and you are giving it your all. You're going to all your coaching, Zoom calls with your coach. You're listening to master classes and you're so motivated and you're doing all the right things and you're really, really committed. And then it's at the very end when you're like finishing that it sets in, it gets to you. Now, there's some warning signs that you can actually look for. They're not the big obvious ones. I think the small ones of most things are the ones that we tend to miss. So some of it can be needing caffeine just literally to start your day. You feel like you cannot function, you cannot stay sharp, you can't start a day literally without some type of caffeine. It can also be feeling very overwhelmed. And sometimes it can actually be this sensation of feeling overstimulated by like 2 p.m., but on a really slow day when you're completely isolated. And the best way I can explain this is the same feeling that you feel when you're a first time mom or a new mom with a baby and you've made it past that first 6 months and you start to feel that sensation of overstimulation because there's sucking and there's holding and there's grabbing and there's crying and there's this needing of you like always having to be touched. You really don't have your own personal space and you just feel this level of, oh my goodness, I am like, your nervous system is completely haywire. And it's the silent feeling because you don't overexpose it externally, but you feel that anxiety building up and it's happening on slow days when it really, you haven't had a lot of things stimulate you. And it could also be resenting people either that you work with, clients, things or people that actually, again, used to light you up. You're annoyed easily, you're irritated easily, and it has nothing to do with necessarily like your time of the month or the cycle of the moon or anything like that. It's just something that's just this constant recurring feeling that you're getting. Now, what is actually happening in your body when these things are showing up? Essentially, is your nervous system runs on like basically a few key signals that most of us are familiar with. So cortisol, which is your stress hormone. You have your dopamine, which tends to dictate your motivation, and it's also wiring your brain for your reward chemical. And so when you're stuck in really low grade stress states, not like some crisis of you got to run because your house is on fire kind of situation. It's that really consistent low simmer state of crisis that we pretty much work in if you're not balancing out your work schedule and your home life and things like that. Your cortisol levels stay elevated even when nothing's technically wrong. It's just there all the time. And that's why you tend to feel tired for no reason. That's why you can sleep for 12 hours and wake up completely exhausted. The trap is that willpower does not fix this problem. You cannot think your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. I would love for that to be the simplest answer, but it doesn't work that way. You have to work at regulating your body first, and then the mind shift comes after. Your body's telling you signals. We're just not listening. And it gets to the point where it's so loud, you have no other option but to listen. It's the law of nature. It will do what it needs to do to self-regulate itself. That's exactly what the fill method that I taught back when I did the episode with my friend Tiffany on Turned On CEO, where you feel your body's wisdom and you invite pleasure back in so that you can let yourself receive and then you can lead from that place. Quiet burnout happens when we skip the feel entirely and just go straight to the push. That is the definition of serving from within an empty cup. Now, I obviously have lived in that cycle for a very long time. It is how most likely I got my two heart conditions very early in my 20s because I was a severe workaholic. I also didn't have great skills. I was in my 20s dealing with a lot. And I just kept doing more and more and more and never feeling really satisfied any place that I reached, whether it was a milestone or a phase of life, it never felt like enough. And so I just kept going harder and harder and harder, thinking that that was the way to acknowledge and get some kind of recognizable award of achievement for some reason. But knowing that now and figuring out like, what do I know helps? And how can I help myself in those situations where sometimes I may not know which one to do? Like, I know that I need to balance both. I know that I need dopamine hits for both my central nervous system and my motivation, my brain, my heart to keep pushing forward. And for me, finding that balance is sometimes really hard, especially when I have deadlines, when I have a family to take care of, when I have a family who's in their own crisis and needs me. And it's always this easier answer that I will just deal with it afterwards. And I know that I can't continue to serve on both sides of my life in a state of burnout. Like it doesn't work that way. And I'm older now. I'm not in my 20s. I can't afford to know and guess and just let it up to the universe to see if my body will be able to sustain like it did in my 20s. I already know what I'm up against. And so what I did is I built this app and it's called the Dopamine Oasis. It's not a productivity tool. You start with a quiz because I wanted to make it user friendly. The quiz walks you through what's actually happening in your body before it will recommend anything. So for some people, it's really just like answer a few questions to tell whether you're needing a nervous system dopamine hit or you need a motivation dopamine hit. And based on your answers, it will tell you, okay, based on your capacity, how you're feeling, and how overwhelmed you are, this is what you should do. And it literally takes you like less than 5 minutes for the most part to complete any of the suggestions that it gives you. It's absolutely amazing. There's songs in there. There's exercises that I've always known are really useful with self-regulation. And I'm diving deeper into this as I'm helping learn. Well, I'm learning to help my 4-year-old have the skills so that he can learn to regulate himself because he's often running in the state of dysregulation. He's going through so much transition, and I want to be able to support him the best I can. And the more I learn how to teach him, to give him the skills, I learn those skills for myself too. And it is so magical, but also very exhausting. So sometimes I just need somebody to tell me what to do. I'm in decision overload in most places. And when it comes to just giving me, even if I only have 5 to 10 minutes of self-care to invest in, this was what I really needed. And once you kind of know that state of being overstimulated and you just need to come down, or you're understimulated and you really need something to ignite that spark that you used to have, it really helps you go into that fill method to help you from an operational side of you just having this tool and listening to what it has to do, seeing which ones you respond to, and then going from there. It's so freaking amazing. And you only pay for it once, you get access to it forever. And I will just continue to build on it. And it is the most beautiful thing because if you don't know, I was born in the desert near Palm Springs. So I wanted to make it that like old school Palm Springs feel that I remember because that was when I grew up in the 80s. And so it's magical. It feels like an oasis when I look at it. It's just amazing. In yoga, we often talk about turning your senses inward before you turn them to the outside world. And it's really more of this just self-awareness so that you are well aware and in control of your own body. And you know before anybody else tells you that something's wrong. That's how I was able to tell when I was worsening in my condition because I was so in tune with my body. And it was that exact feeling or skill or sense, whatever you want to call it, that really helped me reverse engineer so that I could get pregnant. And so in my nursing days, it's the same thing. It's that code blue, sometimes to the right nurse, was never really a surprise because they were paying attention. You have this sensation, you have this feeling like something is not right, and you start paying more attention to the little things so that we're not waiting for that code blue because we're actually actively checking, we're actively reaching out for other people to be like, I need you to come and look at this patient because something feels off or whatever. And that is really powerful. Your business has vital signs too. And so you need to start checking them before, guess what? You need that code blue. So 2 questions right now. First, the feel question. What am I actually feeling in my body right now? And then the second is, do I feel resentment towards something that I used to enjoy? And am I relying on external resources like caffeine or noise to start my day? If either of those are a yes, that's not a push through moment. You need to start paying attention. And if you actually want to check out my tool, the Dopamine Oasis, it's a one-time $7 payment and it's yours. So you can go to my socials, you can comment Oasis and I can get that for you, or all the details will be in the show notes. And if there's any time that you feel that you need a tiny reset, that door will always be open. You can also come into our community and reach out to me in any of my socials if you're really struggling with any advice or tips that you might be looking for. I'm happy to help you as best as I can. What I want you to take away from today is that you don't have to be in crisis to deserve rest. Self-regulation should not feel like it's some type of indulgent thing that you just get to do on special occasions. You need it just as much as you need productivity. Feel first. I know it can be a little like woo-woo in the beginning, but it can save your life. Everything else tends to follow. As always, my beautiful friend, continue to be you, continue to be beautiful, and continue leading from your heart. I'll catch you in the next episode. All right, beautiful. That's a wrap on today's episode. But before you go, let's talk about something really important. You are not just another entrepreneur trying to figure things out alone. You are a wave leader, someone whose work is meant to create real impact, touch the lives of others, and make this world better. And I want you to know you don't have to do it alone. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love to keep this energy going inside of my free Facebook community, Empower Her Biz Collective. It's where we take these conversations deeper with live trainings, tech walkthroughs, and real heart-centered support from other women wellness entrepreneurs who really get it. So if you're ready for community, clarity, and support as you build your own business with heart and ease, I'd invite you to come and join us. You'll find the link in the show notes. And hey, if you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review if you feel inclined, and share this with a fellow heart-led women entrepreneur so that we can build this movement together. Until next time, keep leading with heart.